they just set up a procedure. Perfect.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Patrice Cullors, and welcome to Norwalk's County Clerk's office. I am the campaign chair of the Reform L.A. Jails Initiative, and I am so excited today because we are turning in 246,000 signatures. And we would not have been able to do it without the support and the direction from Jasmine Canick, our campaign director. So I'm going to
Thank you. So for people who are watching on the internet, Reform L.A. Jails is a group of jail and prison experts, public safety and criminal justice reform leaders, religious leaders, residents, business owners, and the community at large. From Compton to Inglewood, Long Beach to Malibu, Lancaster and Palmdale to Santa Clarita, South LA, East LA, West LA, the Valley, Pasadena to Pomona, and everywhere in between. Today we're making history and herstory. And I say herstory because we are gathered based on the vision of women in our community. Black women who said, we've got a problem and this is what we're going to do about it, and we are going to get it done. That's important to recognize because it's rare to have a ballot measure campaign headed up by black women, even in a state as progressive as California. Over 246,000 registered voters in LA County, the largest county in America, have said with their signature that they want real, meaningful, tangible, and actionable criminal justice reform. Voters have said that in the midst of allegations of deputies operating internally as gang members and claims of a secret gang society among the sheriff department's ranks, and amid ever-increasing allegations of sexual misconduct involving deputies in LA County jails, that they want answers. Voters told us that they believe that the Civilian Oversight Commission, our independent eyes and ears, should have the ability to effectively investigate deputy misconduct, and that means subpoena power. That means having the power to legally demand deputy testimony and evidence. Voters told us that when a 16-year-old boy is shot and killed in South LA, that the Sheriff's Department does actually owe the community and his family the truth. Voters told us that the number of deaths inside of the LA County jails is absolutely unacceptable. Voters have said that when a 24-year-old woman goes missing after being released in the middle of the night by deputies and is found almost a year later dead, that her family should not have to fight to get the truth about what happened to her. Voters told us that when a black man is sitting in his car with his hands in plain view, not committing a crime, that it's not okay for deputies to pull out their guns and point it at his head. And voters have said that criminal justice reform isn't just about police killings and police brutality, but it's also about changing a system that does not value the lives of people of color, whether or not we're the suspect or the victim. So when a young black gay man is found dead of a meth overdose in a wealthy white man's home, he is a victim and not a suspect. Voters told us that they want to prioritize alternatives to incarceration for the homeless, mentally ill, and other vulnerable populations, and they told us that they want it now. Voters told us with every signature that the largest county, the largest jail system, and the largest sheriff department in the country needs to provide transparency, accountability, and alternatives to incarceration. You can say yeah to that.
Okay.
Y'all are so solemn and quiet.
It's just a good speech. We're like, hit it.
Speak up a little bit.
Okay, so here we are. We started this journey together on March 15th, and 138 days later, we're here today to submit over 246,000 signatures and 9,248 new voter registrations. That's amazing, and it's something that I know we're all really, really proud of. But we did not do it alone. We had a lot of help along the way, and today you're going to hear from some of the people who inspired us, led the way with us, and worked with us over the past 4.5 months to get us here today. To start with, we could not have done it without the help of our next speaker, who is Steve Bellhuer. He's the president of SB Strategies and headed up our signature gathering operation in LA County. Steve is going to run through a few of the data points for our operation. Steve.
Commissioners. We're so happy that you let us be involved, trusting me and my team. Very, very big deal. Very, very much a highlight. So in the last 4.5 months, again, over 246,000 signatures. We say that because we stopped counting at 246,542, I believe was the number. Yeah. And they've been in the mail, and people have continued to drop them off, or organizations. And so once we gave the number to our attorney, we've just continued to collect. And so we're more than proud of the people that brought this thing together. We had a lot of volunteers involved, representing many organizations, coming in to join teams that we also hired as well. Women-owned sub-companies, formerly incarcerated folks, activists from many other areas who lent their talents to criminal justice reform. And so we know for a fact that over 1,000 folks were out over the weekends and the weeknights and at the community events, because we counted over 600 on our paid side, and we know that there were about 800 on our volunteer side. So we're comfortable saying that we know that well over 1,000 people put their hands on this project. And again, they came from all points of the county and represented everyone that is the county of Los Angeles. So we're so excited to be a part of that, and we want to turn them in as soon as we hear from everyone else who partnered up. So I'm excited.
Our next speaker falls into the category of one of those who inspired. Well, let me go back. I actually took time to write this out. Didn't read it like I wrote it. The next group of speakers falls into the category of those people who inspired us. From our fearless proponents who put their actual names on this ballot initiative, to the families of those who lost loved ones or who were harmed by the Sheriff's Department and L.A. County jail system. They put their trust in us, and through their support, we were guided down this path. Priscilla Ocean is one of the proponents of the Reform L.A. Jails ballot measure. Commissioner Ocean, well, and also a member of the Civilian Oversight Commission, which makes her role really important.
Speak up.
Because she's saying that even as a resident, of LA County, and also as a member of the Civilian Oversight Commission, that she actually knows that this is what is needed. Commissioner Ocean will be followed by Juanette Colors, if she makes it here in time, who made sure that we never forgot the Antelope Valley in our outreach to LA County. Priscilla?
Thank you all. Thank you all. Give yourself Thank you to Patrice and to Jasmine for their leadership in bringing this to us to support, for us to sign these petitions. This is what democracy looks like, and this is really going to return people power to the Civilian Oversight Commission, for us to be able to look into allegations of sexual misconduct, of cliques, of gangs of deputies who are hiding behind a code of silence, who are brutalizing people in our communities, on patrol and in our facilities. We can turn the corner. We don't have to be the largest provider of mental health in our jails. We don't have to be the largest jail in the world, right? We can redefine what justice means, and we can do it through this initiative. So thank you all so much. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Thank you. And so I want to call up Miss Letitia Nixon and Michael Richardson. Come on up. Miss Nixon. So we're going to hear from family members. They're going to identify themselves and their loved ones. And they're going to take a few minutes to talk about what happened to their loved one and why the Reform L.A. Jails ballot measure is so important to them. And a number of us also going to speak on behalf of some of the families that couldn't be here today.
My name is Letitia Nixon. I'm Jamel Moore's mom. This is important because I feel like my son's his death, it wasn't investigated properly. I feel like that Ed Buck, he just got away. There's so many more Jamel Moores that are out there the reason for me coming forward and for so many others is to make sure that more people aren't affected by Ed Buck's careless behavior. So this reform is important. The Sheriff's Department, the LA County Sheriffs, whoever, they need to investigate these deaths more thoroughly and to make sure that everyone is looked at in a positive light, no matter what type of life that a person may have led or whatever. Everybody should be treated equally, and everything should be looked at accordingly. But, thank you all for having me. Always having my back and being there.
Michael Richardson, proud father of Mike Treese Richardson, who was released from the Lost Hills Sheriff Station at 12:38 in the morning. After telling the family members she will not be released in the middle of the night to be wandering. They were going to hold her to 6 a.m., which her mother then said, well, I'll come pick her up at 6 a.m. We later find out through our own independent investigation, people like Jazz Mechanic doing their due diligence to help this family, realized that she was released at 12:15, between 12:15 and 12:38, while the sheriffs were still telling us that she was in her cell and will not be released until 6 a.m. She was taken into custody. They impounded her car, put her purse in it, her cell phone, and her money. Didn't give her any means of transportation to get home. Did not notify the family that she was coming home. But people like Mel Gibson and Charlie Sheen get driven to their mansions in Malibu, get a spank on the hand. But 9 years later, 9 years later, I'm still out here with other family members fighting for the same thing that continue to happen. This is no big surprise to African American people, because now we've seen the results of people like Lee Baca and his undersheriff. When people on KNX News were saying the family just looking for money. When people on these other newscasters were saying black families only trying to sue the county. We had an Office of Independent Review when this happened, but they worked for the county. Now we have people that's working for the people and the victims. And this is why this measure means so much. They're not on the payroll by the county. They don't have anything to gain because they're not receiving their money from the county. They don't have to make the county look good. They need to make the county look bad and put things in action so we can move forward with results. I support it.
And both Ms. Nixon and Mr. Richardson go back to the point that I made earlier about it's not only when we're the suspect, but when we're the victim as well. You know, Patrice Richardson was a victim, Jamel Moore was a victim, and neither one of their cases was treated with any respect by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. And in one case in particular, we think they're the reason that she is dead to begin with. So, keeping it real.
I also just want to thank everybody for showing up here today, for being a part of a growing movement in Los Angeles County that has been on the front lines trying to change this jail system. This is a 10-year fight. And for people that need to understand how fighting policy or fighting for change works, it doesn't happen overnight. But it happens with people coming together, coalitions coming together and saying enough is enough. And this is what this initiative is doing. It's saying enough is enough. Enough of LA County jails harming our communities, harming our families, harming our loved ones. It's saying enough is enough for us not having the ability to actually see these sheriffs' backgrounds and their histories. And it's also calling on the rest of these elected officials who have not been brave enough to stand up for us.
Amen.
It's calling on them to look at us, the power of the people in LA, that we are going to stop this madness by any means necessary. And so I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity to go around LA County, in the largest county, as Jasmine said, in the world, with the largest jailer in the world, to shut down the ideas that people in LA are apathetic, that people in LA don't care about the homeless, that people in LA don't care about people with mental illness. And for us, for those of us who've had loved ones either die in those jails or who have loved ones be brutalized in those jails, this initiative is for us. This initiative is for you.
So now before we wrap it up, I get to do the fun part. We would not be here without the hundreds of volunteers, activists, stakeholders, business owners who made a thought come to our fruition. To everyone who contributed financially to making this dream a reality, thank you. Every single dollar counted, and we could not have done it without your support. Some of those people are here with us today, and we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge them. And because it's worth reading, here is a list of some of those folks. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, Jerome Horton from the Board of Equalization, San Francisco District Attorney George Gascon, Mayor Pro Tem Juwan Hilton, the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Carson, Alyssa Milano, Ava DuVernay, Bahana Novakovic, David Welch, Francis Fisher, Jane Fonda, John Legend, Matt McGorry, Shailene Woodley, Sean King, Bishop Noel Jones, Father Ted Gabrielli, Pastor J. Edgar Boyd, Pastor Michael Fisher, Rabbi Heather Miller, Reverend John Edward Cager, Reverend Bernard Jackson, the ACLU National, the ACLU SoCal, Anti-Recidivism Coalition, Black Community Clergy and Labor Alliance, Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, Brave, it's okay to cheer. Y'all have to be quiet. Brave New Films, Community Coalition, Dignity Empower Now, East Area Progressive Democrats, Equal Action, Justice Teams Network, LA Progressive, March and Rally Los Angeles, the Mexican American Bar Association, the National Action Network for Los Angeles, Reach for Mental Health Awareness, the Real Justice PAC, Revolve Impact, LA County Sober Living, and White People for Black Lives. I also want to take a moment to thank our attorneys at Strumwasser and Butcher, Fred Butcher and Dale Larson. I know Dale is here with us today. Thank you for all your great legal advice. Make sure we don't go to jail ourselves. We also want to thank the entire team at SB Strategies for working with us. Steve Bellhumer, Neil Anderson, Nicholas May, and Ed Sanders, and their entire staff. Thank you. We also want to send a special thank you to all of the businesses, churches, and organizations who hosted us and our petition over the past 4 months. It was truly a team effort. So the question is, where do we go from here? So briefly, we are required by law to turn in 10% of the votes cast in the gubernatorial race for 2014. The number of votes cast back then was 1,463,328. So 10% of that number is 146,333. Today, we are turning in over 246,000. Over 100,000 more than we actually need to qualify. So I think we're in good standing. The LA County Clerk then has the option of either counting all of our petitions or doing a random sample of 3%. It's their decision, not ours, but they're likely to do a random sample. Who wants to count 246,000 petitions, right? If the random sample shows more than 110% of the signatures needed, then we're done and we move on to the next phase. That means we qualify for the March 2020 ballot. If the random sample shows that we're between 95 and 110% of what's needed, then they'll count all of them, and that can take up to 60 days for us to hear back. Once the signatures have been certified by the county clerk, the Board of Supervisors has to do one of three things. They either have to adopt Reform L.A. jails without modification at a regular meeting at which the certification of the petition is presented, or within 10 days after it's presented. Or two, they have to submit Reform L.A. jails without alteration to the voters for a vote. We'll take that too. order a report pursuant at the regular meeting at which the certification of the petition is presented. When the report is presented to the Board of Supervisors, the board will either have to go back to one or two, either adopt it as is or put it to the voters for a vote. We want all of you to take some time to relish in this historical and monumental moment and your role in it. It's because of all of you that we're here today. So make sure you're signed up on our email list at reformlajails.com. Gotta get that plug in, reformlajails.com. And make sure that you follow us at Reform LA Jails on all social media. Once we hear back from the county clerk, we'll let you know. And this is not the end, y'all. This is totally just the beginning. It is, so if you think you're tired now, get ready, because it's about to get cracking. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for believing collectively that we can actually reform LA jails. Thank you.